You're lying in bed. Lights off. Phone brightness turned way down like it's a secret you're not supposed to see. You open your banking app. You don't even scroll right away. You just stare at the number loading. And then it lands. $10,024. You blink. You refresh. Still there. $10,000. Not pending. Not technically if nothing goes wrong. Actual money. Sitting. Yours. Your chest feels lighter. Your shoulders drop. For the first time in a long time, you don't feel hunted by your own expenses. You start doing the math in your head. Rent is covered. Car repairs wouldn't ruin you. If your boss lost their mind tomorrow, you'd survive. This is it. You made it. And right on cue, the world notices. Your credit card app sends a notification. Your spending power just increased. Your bank emails you about a pre-approved opportunity. A car dealership ad magically appears in your feed. Your brain whispers, you deserve something nice now. And that's the catch. Because the moment you hit $10,000, the rules change. Quietly, invisibly, the system shifts from punishing you for being broke to testing how fast it can get that money back. And most people don't realize the test even started. They think $10,000 is the finish line. But it's not. It's the floor. And if you treat it like a trophy instead of foundation, you lose it, usually faster than it took to earn. That's what this video is about. The $10,000 rule that actually changes everything. And why most people, smart people, get it completely wrong. Here's the lie we're all sold. That hitting $10,000 means you're good now. That once you reach it, you can relax, loosen up, breathe. But money doesn't work like a finish line. It works like a roller coaster. Most people grind for years just to climb the first hill. Side hustles, overtime, saying no to everything fun, saying yes to stress. They finally hit $10K and then take their hands off the wheel. And that's when gravity does its thing. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 60% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency without debt. Not because they're lazy, not because they're dumb, but because money leaks faster when you don't have buffers. So when someone finally builds one, their brain doesn't say, protect this. It says, finally, relief, and relief is expensive. Psychologists call it scarcity rebound. When you've been deprived for a long time, your sense of reasonable gets warped. You don't reward yourself a little. You overcorrect. It's like holding your breath underwater and then gasping so hard you choke. And the system is built for that exact moment. Banks don't advertise hardest to people with $37 in their account. They wait until you look stable. Then they sell you options, credit, leverage, monthly payments that feel harmless because now you have savings. But here's the thing nobody says out loud. $10,000 doesn't mean you're rich. It means you're finally visible. Visible to fees, visible to temptation, visible to lifestyle creep wearing a hoodie that says you earned this. And if you lose it, you don't just lose money, you lose momentum. That's why so many people hit $10,000 once and never again. And if that's you, or it was you, you're not broken. That's almost everyone. My name is Peter. I'm not a guru. I'm not selling a course. I don't think you need to wake up at 4 a.m. or manifest abundance. I'm just obsessed with how money actually works, especially the parts nobody explains because they're boring, uncomfortable, or bad for business. Quick disclaimer before we go further. This video is for education and entertainment only. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know your situation. Talk to a qualified professional before making financial decisions. Now, let's talk about what actually changes after $10,000 and why it messes with people. Phase 1 is the grind. This is the phase everyone understands. Scraping, budgeting, cutting subscriptions, saying no, watching numbers inch up painfully slow. In phase 1, money is survival. Every dollar has a job. Every mistake hurts. You don't feel rich. You feel alert. Then comes phase 2. Phase 2 is dangerous because nothing looks dangerous. Emotionally, you feel safer. Externally, the system treats you differently. You start thinking in months instead of days. Your brain shifts from defense to comfort, and comfort whispers lies. It's okay to float this expense. I can replace that savings later. I'm not broke anymore. But here's the brutal truth. $10,000 isn't freedom. It's insulation. It doesn't buy you a new life. It buys you time to make better decisions. The problem is nobody tells you that. Apps encourage spending because transaction volume is profit. Banks encourage borrowing because interest is profit. Retailers encourage affordable monthly payments because paying delayed feels smaller. And psychologically, you're primed. After years of saying no, reward feels justified. After years of instability, risk feels smaller. That combination is lethal. You don't blow $10,000 in one dumb move. You leak it. New car payment here. Upgraded apartment there. Helping someone out because now you can. And slowly, quietly, your floor becomes a memory. Not because you failed. Because the system is tuned so most people never wander too far upward. Let's talk boring math. Because boring math is undefeated. Imagine two people hit $10,000. Person A treats it like spending permission. Person B treats it like a locked floor. If person B never touches at $10,000 and earns a modest 5% annually, not sexy, not crypto, just boring, in 20 years, that alone becomes about $26,500. No hustle, no genius. Now add consistency. Vanguard studies show the average investor underperforms the market by about 1.5 to 2% per year due to bad timing and emotional decisions. That gap? That's panic. That's reward spending. That's breaking the floor. People don't fail because returns are bad. They fail because behavior is expensive. The people who win long-term aren't smarter. They're more boring. Let me tell you about Alex and Jordan. Alex hits $10,000 and feels unstoppable. Upgrades her car. Moves to a nicer place. Starts saying yes to everything they postponed. Nothing outrageous. Just comfortable. 6 months later, an expense hits. Then another. The buffer shrinks. Alex still earns. Still tries. But now they're chasing stability again instead of building it. Jordan hits $10,000 and freaks out. Not in a bad way. In a this is fragile way. Jordan sets a rule. That $10,000 is untouchable unless it's a true emergency. Everything above it? Flexible. Jordan still enjoys life. Still spends. But never drops below the floor. 5 years later, Jordan isn't flashy. But options show up. Job flexibility. Lower stress. Time. According to Fidelity, people with emergency funds are significantly less likely to take on high-interest debt during crises. Not because they earn more, because they build a floor. So here's the $10,000 rule most people miss. 1. Treat your first $10,000 like a floor, not a prize. 2. Build a growth layer above it, investing, saving, whatever fits your life. 3. Create an options layer, money that buys flexibility, not stuff. 4. Be suspicious of anything that congratulates you and offers financing in the same sentence. Money isn't about stuff. It's about options. The Real catches this. $10,000 doesn't change your life because of what it buys. It changes your life because of what it protects. Protect it like it's the floor. Because once you have one, building higher gets easier. And losing it is way harder than you think.